it happens that we see flying cars and unicorns, and that reflects who's writing the poem, which is exactly what we want to do. So, what with our imagination we have vision, we see flying cars and unicorns. So that kind of answers the question. Well, it answers two questions really, but what else do we know? Or we don't know, what can we imagine? We don't know if the plot of our story is sorrow. There's sort of a 50-50 chance either way, I guess, so what do you guys think? Happiness, sorrow, is it still tension between the two?
Oh wait, you repeat that?
Sure.
Kind of started cutting off.
Yeah, that's fine. Let me grab, oh, never mind. Okay, so at the top here we don't know if the plot of our story is sorrow. So down here we're going to say, well, essentially, is it happiness? Is it still war between good and evil, sorrow and happiness? What should we write here? What do we imagine?
Guys, what do you think? Some of you really don't want to write about sorrow so much. What would you like to want to be about?
Happiness.
What's that?
Happiness.
Brian? Peaceful? Wes?
The pursuit of happiness.
Okay, so we got some happy stuff going on. You guys said
Okay.
what?
If we
Or
were the
peace?
writer of the human story, we would write happiness and peace, good over evil.
We would all like that ending, wouldn't we?
What are some other, one more thing, happiness, peace, good over evil. What's one more thing you might wish for the world of the future?
One more thing you'd like for the world of the future. Wes?
Goodwill towards men.
Okay, goodwill. So everybody gets along? Yeah. Yancy, can you know that one? People get along in the world? Yeah, sure. Okay.
Okay, great. So we have, so we've imagined the plot of our story. So we don't know where success will lie. So that's sort of an interesting question. How would you go about answering that? Where will our success lie?
I think our success will lie in something that has to do with technology, such as mechanics, because all of it is pretty much going to be run by machines.
Okay, that's very interesting. So, when you think of the futuristic world, you think of robots and machines, and so maybe our success will lie somewhere there. Success we see in, but at the same time, if sorry to be coming back to you with this, but do you see it only in technology, or do you see it in other areas? Because if our poem is about the power of the human imagination, then it's reasonable.
It could be educational, like in educational success.
Okay, so maybe success we see both in the physical sense, in machines, in robots, in technology, as well as in the non-tangible sense, in minds, in brains. Success we see in minds and metal. Kind of, I don't know, it's a little easier to say than non-tangible forms of. Success we see in minds and metal. Science as well as, no. And how should we go on to explain that in a way that doesn't use up more than a couple words, or 4 words?
I guess.
Or maybe we could even use this to end the poem. Success we see in minds and metal, because humans what makes humans, or what makes us, even though we might not be able to do calculations as fast as a computer, and even though a computer can beat us at Jeopardy, which is pretty sad, what do we have that they don't?
Emotions.
Emotions?
Imagination.
Yeah.
We have different choices too.
And imagination. Okay. Yeah, so we have emotions and imagination, so we might, I'm going to write, so we might sort of end the poem on that note, because maybe, let me see, okay. For computers cannot love or hate. And what would be the good last line that captures what all that we can do?
Love forever.
Yeah.
The choices we make, we have the option to do something.
Maybe, but with imagination we can imagine, and so do everything. As in, or that sounds weird, like so everything around it. What I meant to say was, but we can imagine and so we can do everything, at least in our head. Because the power of imagination is essentially the power to do anything that you want. And so we can do anything. That sort of works, I guess. It kind of captures, I guess, what we need to capture is kind of the power of imagination. Do you guys think that would be that does it as far as summing it up as the last line? Or do you think we could phrase that better?
We could probably phrase that better. Yeah.
Okay, so how would we phrase it better?
Better words.
Use better words, okay. But we can imagine, and so give me how you would rephrase this.
So we can believe.
But we are the only ones who truly create.
Okay.
Okay, then.
All right, perfect. So let's read our poem, and it's kind of interesting. It's very free form. We have the first part rhyming and the second part not rhyming. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. We don't know if the plot of our story is sorrow. We don't know where our success will lie. We don't know what will fly in the sky. But with our imagination, we have vision. We see flying cars and unicorns. If we were the writer of the human story, we would write happiness and peace, good over evil, goodwill to all. Success we see in minds and metal, for computers cannot love or hate, but we can imagine, and so we are the only ones who truly create.
Wow, you guys, that's good.
That's a really well done poem. And the best thing was, it wasn't me writing it. It was your suggestions, your idea. You were the ones who picked the quote, and so it was something that you guys really created. And again, that's another thing that you could have played off of, was the fact that by writing a poem, we were creating something. We were using our imagination. So when you reflect, you do more than just paint a picture. You add your own ideas, opinions, thoughts, and just as a mirror can, you can distort a reflection. You can make it look bigger or smaller than it really is. You can zoom in on a specific part. So you can do a lot of things by looking at the world around you, asking yourself questions like we did, and writing poems about it to answer those questions, or even just to ask them in a poetic form. So thanks so much, everybody, and thank you for speaking up. Actually, you've been among the more vocal groups that I've had with reflective poetry, because it is a sort of thing where you want to sit and reflect, but at the same time sharing your opinion. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
What, Nora? Email us the poem.
Yes, I can definitely.
Email us the poem.
Yes, I will do that. Yeah, I should have.
Wonderful.
I should have emailed. Yeah.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye. Hope it warms up. They're good